celebrations across Nigeria were marked by peace, unity, and resilience despite economic challenges, increasing the cost of house rents, and security concerns. The celebrations also showcased Nigeria's rich cultural heritage, with traditional rulers, government officials, and citizens gathering to mark the end of 2026 Ramadan. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Housing Development. Thank you for joining us. I am Hafsat Uremi Ibrahim. In this week's collection, we bring you reports on key developments in the housing sector, plus a visit to Tudunwada, a residential community in the Federal Capital Territory. To get direct information on the living conditions there, we also paid a visit to Dawaki community to assess the impact of housing on this year's Eid al-Fitr celebration. Stay with us for these and more. Let's get started with the latest trending news in the housing sector.
Ebonyi State government has unveiled plans to introduce a tenancy bill that will cap property agent fees at 2% of total rent in a decisive move aimed at addressing exploitative practices and improving housing affordability. The proposed legislation currently under consideration forms part of a broader reform package approved by the State Executive Council to strengthen regulation within the real estate sector and ensure fairer landlord-tenant relationships. If passed, the law will significantly reduce agents' charges from the prevailing 5 to 10% range, easing the financial burden on tenants. The initiative responds to growing concerns over excessive agency and legal fees, which have continued to inflate the cost of renting, particularly in urban centers. By setting a legal limit, the government aims to standardize rental transactions, enhance transparency, and protect low and middle income earners from arbitrary charges. Industry observers note that the policy could also formalize operations within the property market, encouraging proper documentation and reducing disputes among landlords, tenants, and intermediaries. Organizers of the Africa International Housing Show have called on stakeholders across the housing and construction value chain to take advantage of early registration as preparations intensify for the event's 20th anniversary edition. Booth allocation has officially commenced and will be strictly first-come, first-served basis, prompting exhibitors, developers, and investors to secure participation early. The event is scheduled to hold from July 13th to 18th, 2026 at the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja. Widely regarded as Africa's largest housing and construction gathering, the Africa International Housing Show attracts over 40,000 participants annually from more than 21 countries. The 2026 edition, tagged the Legacy Edition, is expected to record unprecedented participation from key players including developers, construction firms, financial institutions, policymakers, and international investors. Organizers describe the platform as a critical marketplace for business networking, deal-making, and industry advancement. Nigeria is under increasing pressure to accelerate housing development as the 2030 deadline for achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals draws closer, particularly Goal 11, which focuses on creating inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable cities. With less than 5 years remaining, experts warn that urgent action is needed to address the country's growing housing deficit and improve living conditions for millions of citizens residing in substandard environments. Current data indicates that Nigeria faces a housing shortfall of approximately 14.9 million units, with demand far outpacing supply. Analysts estimate that the country needs to deliver between 550,000 and 900,000 housing units annually to close the gap, yet formal sector output remains significantly lower. In addition to the deficit, millions of existing homes lack basic infrastructure such as clean water, sanitation, and electricity, contributing to the expansion of informal settlements and increasing vulnerability to health and environmental risks. Experts emphasize that addressing the crisis requires a multidimensional approach, including large-scale housing delivery, infrastructure development, and improved access to housing finance.
Over 13% of Nigerians, a staggering 62 million people, are grappling with housing challenges. As inflation continues to skyrocket, many now live in informal settlements, experiencing poor housing conditions and lack of basic amenities. A visit to Tudunwada community in the Federal Capital Territory shows residents lamenting bitterly about their living conditions, ranging from poorly maintained roads and lack of clean water, among other challenges. Now, let's take a look.
Tudunwada is an urban slum and shanty in Lugbe FCT, squalid and overcrowded with over 30,000 people with little or no access to basic amenities. A visit to this community highlighted the low presence of government intervention within the Tudunwada area. Speaking with the village head, Malam Mohammed Usman, Sarikin Tudunwada, he highlighted some of the major challenges facing the community, including contributions and support from the people of Tudunwada during elections. Despite all the promises made by politicians for the development of Tudunwada, none has been fulfilled.
The work the government could do are very happy for Nigeria. Then Nigeria want the children to go to school. The children for Tudunwada, they plenty. Many no go school.
So there's no get school here with that?
No day school here.
No government secondary school?
No day. Primary. Go start for primary, government school, no day.
Okay. When I get primary.
Now hospital, no day.
Hospital too, no day.
No day.
Okay.
The community go past 30 years is there here. Okay. Go vote for Nigeria, vote for governor, any chairman, councillor, any person. If you go need party, go come here, go vote for them. Any language they here. Okay. The whole Tudunwada go get 10 transformer. The people go support government here. If you could do something, not going to remember them. The only road, na federal government, na help pay the road. I don't do the work. Small time, if you could go check the road now, the road don't spoil now. Nothing there for Tudunwada here.
Nuhu Mohammed, one of the council members of the palace, reiterated the issues facing the community since its existence 30 years ago.
This community has been in existence for the past 30 years. So, but we have never benefited any notable thing from government. It's only that small road of 100 meters that they have done for us. That is the only thing. And we have a lot of people here that are voting during election. And we have generating this thing that they are trying to do here in community, which this, power generation, this thing, we have this thing here.
Okay, there's a plant.
Yes, here. General plant of Abuja, the whole Abuja is here. Okay. And we have not got a hospital, a health care, primary health care, no day, primary school, no day, no secondary school. They have been coming to ask us like this, and when we tell them, to the extent that Miangwa has donated a place for them to build a school and a primary head for us.
The only thing we are lacking is the AMAC are not being considerate. They don't come here. We don't see, like in this place, we don't have an urban center. Okay. We don't have a town hall. Okay. We don't have a public latrine. We don't have public school. So the development we have here is within ourselves. We'll come together as a community. We decide on what to do. Even the electrification you see here is done by the community. So all the networks is run by the community.
That is the situation facing residents of Tudunwada community in the FCT. We'll quickly go for a short break and continue the program when we return. Please take note. Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development, and I'm glad you're still here with us. Eid al-Fitr is a time of joy, celebration, and gratitude for millions of Muslims around the world. As families mark the end of Ramadan, economic challenges and rising cost of living shape how the festive season was observed. For some residents, the celebration came with ease, while others found it difficult to savour as usual. Our next report takes us to Dawaki in the FCT, where many residents share their experience on the just concluded Salah celebration. Let's dive right in.
A visit to Dawaki, a rapidly expanding community within the Federal Capital Territory, highlights the growing realities faced by residents as housing challenges and economic pressures continue to shape daily living. Across both residential areas and local markets, residents describe a community grappling with inadequate infrastructure, rising costs, and limited access to basic amenities.
Talking about the situation of light in Dawaki, it's a place where we have chief. In Dawaki, you don't complain of light much, except we have distractions, say pole fell down or that about. In other things, I think house rent is increasing every day. Like now, I paid my rent double more than what I paid last year. If I'm paying 90, it's doubling to 150,000 for one room, one single room. We share bedroom like 10 tenants or 100 tenants in one compound. So that is what is here in Dawaki now, as I'm seeing. You can see the gutter by yourself. The environment looks very dirty. In fact, that is how we are passing through. And if you don't pay, the other one is standing by with huge amount of money. The landlord will just come and eject you.
Beyond infrastructure, economic challenges are also taking a toll. Traders and residents point to the rising cost of fuel as a major factor affecting transportation and the prices of goods within the community markets.
During this Salah celebration, before NAN, we are expecting to have more sales as compared to other years. But this time and towards the end of the fasting, the sudden increment in fuel price and price of things that just went up like that, it really affected our sales. Then on the Salah day, no matter how things are expensive on the Salah days, we are supposed to make more sales. So we actually made some sales, but that very day and the day that follows, there was no light. And you know, when there is no light, you cannot sell your drinks. So it was a very bad experience for all of us and affecting everybody, Muslims and Christians.
So thank God for the celebration, but the living here, it's not what someone can express, because it's very sad. Like, for someone to be, you have people to take care of, there's no work. Even if you finally get the job, transport don't finish your salary. It's not fair now. Please, the government should help us. We are suffering. If you get salary of 50K, go use 45K for transport, and it's not good. Please, the government should help us. Aside from the transport, house rent, government they do their own, landlord they do their own. Government landlord that are supposed to be helping us, they are also punishing us, increasing house rent for no reason, for houses they don't build since 1980. I'm staying in a self-contained and I'm paying $450. No water, light care, once in a while.
Housing affordability remains another critical issue. Some residents expressed concern over the steady increase in house rents, which they say is not matched by improvements in living conditions. In several instances, residents describe their living environments as inadequate, citing challenges that continue to affect their overall quality of life.
The cost of living here in Dawaki is very expensive. Although before it wasn't like that, but I don't know the reason why it is. I don't know the reason why it is this time. The cost of living here is very, very expensive. Concerning the housing, house is very expensive here, to be sincere. And if we talk about the Salah celebration, we did not celebrate it here very well because of how things are very expensive. You know, in fact, that day, so many of us did not eat anything because even the Muslim people, they were complaining. Nothing, they did not cook, nothing, you know. It was like, but this is Salah now, what is happening? They say, my brother, we have to manage what we see. So the thing is just, I don't know, it's very, very expensive, to be sincere.
The broader impact of inflation is also evident, as many households struggle to meet basic needs. Food prices, household expenses, and daily costs continue to rise, placing additional strain on already limited incomes.
This particular Salah celebration, our sales was very poor, very, 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 very poor because of the rate of the hiking in price. Things went up, and but we thank God, Allah is still God, and we thank God for everything. We still made sales, but not as it used to be. Hey, house rent is high, oh. Government should come to our aid. It's very, very high. And the worst part of it is that, for instance, you get into this house, you pay the house rent. The next year, they're increasing it again. It's going over and over and over again. Man, please, they should come to our aid or come and rescue us from the hands of all this landlord.
But I will tell you that within this compound we are staying, we are most lucky people because we have a very good landlord that consider us an individual people. The man have been doing his best to make sure that we are not stressed based on house rent. But I think for the past 5 years, 5 to 10 years, he has not increased our house rent. Except this month, I don't know, it's like the house have been shared to the children and the children have decided to increase the rent to 50% of what we are paying added. And the 50% is actually not affecting us much. But if generally in Dawaki, I think the houses are very, very, very expensive, like expensive. For a situation where self-contained is going for 800,000, 600,000. But over here in our compound, our landlord considers self-contained is just a matter of maybe 400,000. Some people are still paying 350,000. So I would say for us, we are lucky. I don't know others. I do house agents. I'm a media man. I do house agents. I know where place I went to where people are actually crying for rentage. And the rentage in Dawaki is very, very high.
Overall, the situation in Dawaki reflects the intersection of housing, infrastructure, and economic realities, underscoring the need for sustainable development efforts to improve living conditions within growing urban communities.
Now, let's hear from people on the streets what their perspective is on the issue related to housing in the country.
It still boils down to that economic crisis, because it's still the cost of the building material that will make the landlord or the landlady, whoever owns the house you are renting it, or the one you have you own yourself, is the cost of the building material made it go up. Because sometimes even in the market, you can come into the market, rent shop for like 300,000-400,000 naira yearly, but now you cannot find it like that again. And I think urban migration has been a major cause of it. Everybody wants to go to the city. You understand? There's nothing like rural development. Everybody just wants to migrate to the city and have the taste of city. So, and when you have a very populated area, a very populated city, definitely the housing cost will go up.
In Abuja precisely, the cost of housing, the cost of rent per se is on the increase. And the effect that has on the economy is that, what that means is that, your income has been affected, because the cost of living is very high and income is not on the increase. So what that means is that people have to pay through their noses for them to be able to have affordable accommodation. And if that happens, you know that on the entire economy, if that happens, that the processing power, it reduces the processing power of the citizens. And if that happens, is that they don't have the opportunity to go into the market and buy, clear the market and all that. And that actually affects the production sector of the economy. Do you get? So it's a very, very serious case that government needs to address it, because it's affecting people seriously.
We thank the federal government for adding 50 billion but to be sincere, it's like a little drop of water. The housing deficit in the country now is huge. It's huge. So I think I would want to suggest and to plead with the federal government to do more. In a country of over 200 million people, what is 50 billion to the deficit in housing that we have? Go to the streets. How many average Nigerians have housing over their heads? So this is why I think that would not do in the society where we find ourselves now.
Those were voices from the streets. Welcome back. You're watching Housing Development.
Africa International Housing Show brings an amazing opportunity to exhibit, network, develop new business relationships, and make sales. Here are things you must know about Africa International Housing Show. The Africa International Housing Show is Africa's biggest building and construction show, with more than 15,000 participants and over 400 exhibitors from 21 countries. Its large international participation provides excellent opportunities for global sharing of knowledge, expertise, products, and best practices. Africa International Housing Show brings together industry leaders, investors, buyers, and entrepreneurs to develop market and business partnerships. The event gives you access to leading-edge technical information, equipment exhibition, and valuable new professional contacts from around the world. It gives participants opportunity to introduce new products and meet the right buyer.
The fact remains that you cannot talk about national development without talking about housing development. On that note, we draw the curtains on today's edition of the program. Join us again same time next week. I still remain your anchor, Hafsat Urimi Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching and bye for now.
Housing TV Africa, your first in housing news.